Hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. Waiting for a storm to come in and enjoying my buffalo sweat. I want to ask you a very serious question. It's not going to be a pleasant question, and I'm sure that a lot of people are immediately going to become incensed and go, my gosh, why would you say something like that? My gosh, that's just a terrible thing to even think about, let alone talk about. I'll never let it happen to my children. It would never happen. Now, those are two different things. If you never let it happen to your children, good for you. I hope you're doing what it takes. It would never happen. That's a fool's argument, because anybody who says something will never happen is just hiding their head. The question that I want to ask you is this: will your children starve? Will they? Now, right now, you'd say, well, no, the world's going along pretty well. I keep food and candy, in the house and everything they want, and they're guzzling the 2 liters and eating the ding dongs, and I know a lot of you aren't like that. They're eating good, healthy food, right? And much of which you grow yourself. But have you been paying attention to what's going on? You know these. The food processing plants that have gone up in smoke. We've already known that there was and I'm not trying to be a sky is falling here, but if the sky is falling, you better recognize it and admit it and get ready to do something about it. We already had food delivery problems. Remember when we couldn't get toilet paper? That was the least of our problems. We've seen shortages in different things nationwide. We know that there have been delivery problems, supply chain issues. Those seem to go up and down. They fluctuate. We know that because of the situation in Ukraine, that food supplies are going to be impacted, to say the least. We know that as a result of RWP's video a week or two ago, urea, there's going to be a shortage of urea. For those of you who know what that is, I wasn't aware of it. The diesel engines need that. It has something to do with their exhaust. There's going to be a shortage on that, which means truck problems. I talked to my brother-in-law, he was over the road for 30 years or so. Now he's an instructor. He says, yeah, it's going to be big problems. So we're going to have more food delivery problems. We know the drought. And now, what do we have? 18 food processing and or fertilizer plants. We saw the fertilizer problem coming out of China. 18 food processing plants have somehow burned, not just here in our country, but elsewhere. Does that seem right to you? Does that seem like it's normal? Does that seem like it might be a reason for concern? Some time ago, I remember when I started to read the internet buzz about Bill Gates is buying up all the farmland. And I said, so what? So land's a good investment, right? And we knew he wasn't going to be a farmer. But then when we have seen his hand at work in this last couple of years about what he is for and what he's against, it all comes together, doesn't it? Or it seems to. And it kind of creates a pattern, at least to me. How about you? That he's buying up a lot of land that is food producing land, and a lot of other food producing land is being bought up by China and other than American interests. What does this mean? Do you keep up with the World Economic Forum? Do you keep up with Klaus Schwab? Do you keep up with any number of these people who seem to think that those of us who just want to be self-sufficient, self-reliant, live a decent life, that we are somehow getting in the way of progress? You know, the thing that got me really seriously involved in preparedness. Now, as I've said before, I've been in preparedness. I've been preparedness minded all my life, and I've really been involved in preparedness activities all of my life. But what got me serious about it was some time ago. It was, you know, around Y2K when I started paying more attention to it. And because up till then I thought it was natural, you know, natural disasters. And then I started thinking about man-made. And then when I had kids and I started realizing, when I came to realize that a CME, a coronal mass ejection, which is what my books are about, I suggest you read them. The links are down below. I let you know about them because I'd like you to read them. That's why I wrote them, and they will help you prepare. When I realized that a CME, a coronal mass ejection, was not only a possibility, but it's essentially guaranteed, that scientists tell us it's guaranteed, I realized the enormity of that. And I started to imagine my kids starving to death. That's a horrible thought. It's not something that you want to dwell on, but it's something you have to dwell on. You have to deal with reality if you're going to prepare for reality. Matter of fact, I just put one up over on Patreon, on the Patreon side, that you ought to watch. If you're not over on Patreon, you need to be over on Patreon. There is more stuff over there that you really need to know, but I can't put it on YouTube because they'll bounce it off, okay? Simple as that. This one is about being comfortable with violence. I know that violence is something, oh, I don't want to think about violence. Well, and then some people think about violence in a very, very, wow, that's cool, you know, Hollywood way, and that's BS. Violence is the most dehumanizing activity humans involve themselves in, but you better have a loop around it. You better be comfortable with it. You better understand it if the world collapses. So it's the same thing. I made myself imagine everything out, and my kids starving to death and looking at me and looking in their faces. And I encourage you to do this, your kids, your grandkids, whatever. And there not being any more food. And they're saying, Daddy, I'm hungry. I need something to eat. And you have nothing to give them. Now, am I trying to scare you? If you need to be scared, yes, I am. I'm trying to scare you to death. To get you going. To get you saying, man, this is real. This could happen. Our food supply could be under attack. Do you know what it is when somebody takes your food? What is it when somebody doesn't let you have food? Let's put it in its simplest words. That's murder. You may be familiar with some of the orchestrated famines, the orchestrated starvations, genocidal starvations that have occurred throughout history, when there were food surpluses, but they starved entire populations to death. Do you think it won't happen to you? Do you think it won't happen to your kids? It could. The only thing standing between that and your survival and your kids' survival is your ability to provide the food. That means two things. Store the dickens out of it. Buy. What is it that Joe Fox says? Stack it to the rafters? Yeah, I'd say stack it to the rafters, dig a hole, fill the hole, and put it on the roof too. How much do you need? You need as much as you can afford. I made a hole. If you want to know what to buy, I won't bother you with that here. One of my very first videos, I'll put it up again over on Patreon. You can go back and search for it here. It's one of the first. I think it was called The Next Step. It was about how to stockpile food. You don't have to stockpile Mountain House. Go to your grocery store. They got everything you need. Stockpile it. But it's very possible that our food is under attack. If our food is under attack, that means possible starvation. If there's no food, it means certain starvation. Starvation means death. If anybody's doing this on purpose, that's murder. And we can jump up and down all we want to. And we can say, well, that's not right, that's not fair, somebody's got to do something about it. Well, I'll tell you what, who has to do something about it, and that's you. You have to do something about it right now, and me. Okay? I won't say what I have, but I haven't stopped stocking. And I won't stop stocking until there's nothing left to stock. That's what I suggest. Think about this. Imagine your children's or your grandchildren's faces looking at you, daddy, granddad, grandma, mom, I'm hungry. And you having to say, sweetie, we don't have any more food. You ever seen people who have starved to death? I mean, if you're lucky, there's a camp you can go to, right? Maybe you'll get some soup every day. You'll get a bowl of soup every day. As long as you work. As long as you keep on working. You think that can't happen? This is America. That can't happen. Yeah, that's what they thought too. In all the countries where that happened. Okay, I'll leave it there. You know what I'm talking about. And you know you need to do something about it. So do something about it. Spread this to the people that you know. Please, try it. If you know people that you care about, try to get their eyes open. Because not only do they, you care about them, right? If they don't prepare, who are they coming to? Are you going to say no? I know a lot of people said, well, if they didn't prepare, they don't get any. Hey, easy to say, tough talk, right? And I guess maybe some people think that way. I know that if there were people in my family who didn't prepare, I couldn't turn them away. I couldn't. Because I love them. Okay? That means I have to prepare for them too. Maybe you do too, so do it. Do it now while it's available. Do it now while the prices haven't shot up. I just bought some eggs. Some time ago they were 77 cents a dozen. They had gone up to $1.63 a dozen at Aldi. Just got a couple dozen today. $2.40 a dozen. You folks with chickens, you're doing well. We don't have chickens, but we have a guy. Okay, we've got someplace we can get duck eggs. All right. Look, you all have a good day. This is serious stuff. I don't know. It can get more serious. That's the problem. It may get more serious. Be ready for that. Remember what we say. We say we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. This is what we're talking about. If you're going to live tomorrow, you've got to prepare today, because there is no preparing after that day comes. There's no, and I tell you, the worst thought that could go through your head is, damn, I wished, I shoulda, I woulda, whatever, right? Okay. Go out and get some stuff. Go out and get it. Go out and get more tomorrow and the next day. Make sure you're ready to go. Make sure you're self-sufficient. That is what preparedness is about. Okay? You have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.